This is a test panel which I use for testing my 434 megahertz receivers after they've been manufactured, and the printed circuit boards for the transmitters. Here is a transmitter. Now these things can be manufactured in-house here using some devices. I've got like an infrared heater and some tweezers and a stencil for the solder paste. The solder paste and the very small parts have to be applied very carefully. I mean, you can barely see them, but it can be done. Those are less than 1 millimeter pieces, the resistors and inductors and so on here. Now then, the same applies with the receiver. Finishing off the receiver, we apply the antenna and also these headers. 28-way header which can then plug into the board. Both plugs into my circuit board for the garage door controller and also this test board. The reason I use this is because it allows me to see whether the receiver is working and the transmitters. The transmitters, well, the receiver will work when the transmitter gives a signal, and then that transmitter's code will then appear on here. This screen allows me to see the actual key lock code of my handset. Now each one has to be individually programmed, so they've all got different serial numbers, and this is what will show the serial number. If I press the button on this one, which has been pre-programmed, you should be able to see like a little LED come on. I can't from there, but each time I press, the screen updates. It gives the key lock serial number, which in this case is 000 Charlie, and also the incrementing code. Now, this code increments each time after having gone through a very complicated algorithm inside the main chip. This is simply a receiver. It transmits the bytes and the bit signal to here, which then interprets it and puts it on the screen. The same thing is happening in my garage door controller, the Symbolic Instruments V1. Except, as a result of receiving a good handset signal, such as that, it doesn't just put it on the screen, or it doesn't put it on the screen at all. It sends a message to the relays to either send the door up, down, or stop. These things have got 4 channels. Now each one therefore has its own serial number. For example, this one is C, the bottom button. The top button is the Bravo channel, B. And this code, this one here, I think, let's try this one here. That's the alpha channel. Charlie, Bravo. This one is an ADC read. It's giving the same code as the top. Effectively, that has 3 channels, but it's prototype. At the same time, you can see that the code is being incremented. It's a hexagonal code. The hex code is a step up from binary to compress the code. It's as simple as that. It's in 16-digit rather than the 2-digit binary. One last word. The key lock algorithm, which actually belongs to Microchip Incorporated, is guaranteed to be working on this handset. As far as I'm aware, the Somfy handset uses its own proprietary code. They call it RTS, and it is far easier to break. It is possible to sample the Somfy handsets with some basic radio technology devices to work out the individual serial number for that device, replicate it and break, or at least make a copy of your own of the Somfy handset. Now, I do not deny that the Somfy tools are easy to use and very reliable, but they aren't the highest security. They're not as good security as ours anyway. Let me just see if I can get that LED showing in this screen, this camera. No, you can't see the handset LED, but you can see the LED there flashing. That's it.